run with it, okay? So just settle in. We'll be with you shortly. To answer the question real quick, yeah, um, the Innovators Think Tank did get an overhaul and got a new look. It's all jazzed up. It is different from last week. Definitely encourage folks to explore that little nugget. It's awesome whenever we get a makeover. And so I'll leave it to Josh Hellman and to Cash Money Kev or Matea to fill you in on the bells and whistles. It's their new thing. But yes, you're in the right place. So yeah, don't freak out. You're in the right place. Yes, I know all the social security numbers and everything have been hacked and the world's going to all, this, that, and the other thing. But nope, that's actually legit. It's not a fake website. So you're safe there. And just as a reminder, that is a good reminder for all of us. Always click on the links that we have in the nest. To make sure that you're not led astray. We don't want anybody to be clicking on things that they shouldn't. Any links or websites that are talked about here in class are either going to be in the nest in the Slack channel for you to find um, pointed out, or definitely something that we've told you to go to. So, other than that, please don't click around. I know you like to be button pushers, but don't do that. So, we practice safe hygiene here in the digital overlay. But yeah, you noticed. Yes, there's a new site, but I'll let somebody else tell you about it in a little bit.
All right, welcome everybody back to week number 4 of season 3 of the Ideas to Impact series of building your community platform on WordPress. With everybody here, thank you, Ross, Nick, and Alistair, for taking the time out to plan out this uh, session today. And thank you, Sarah, for being here to guide us and make sure everybody's keeping a cool head and being all right, feeling good. And a special thank you to all the partners, Cisco and WordPress and DigitalOcean, for making this happen. I hope everybody had a good week. Uh, Everybody's been busy, I know, but tonight we're going to be getting our hands dirty, and I know Ross is going to be teaching us some good stuff, and we're going to be building out more modules. Um, be sure to check out the Innovator Hub. It did get an overhaul, as Sarah mentioned. Be sure to go fill out the networking section and tell us who you are, what you guys are building. Um, yeah, and share who you're trying to connect with in there. go apply to pitch. Don't forget about that. And if you've seen somebody building out something cool, tell them about that they need to apply to pitch. We're always welcoming new pitchers. And I hope everybody did their homework this week, built out their 5 modules, and changed the V-Tiger logo, like Ross mentioned. And there was a fake Innovators Think Tank URL in the Discord. We did take that down. So if anybody clicked on that in the Discord, if you guys were still active in there, please know that guy was removed. And that is definitely not our website. Our website is innovatorsthinktank.com. And shout out to Luke for the overhaul. He did a wonderful job. Please go check out everything that he's doing over there. It is amazing, guys. Come up to the stage if you guys have any questions tonight. Be sure to grab that mic. And there's no bad questions, guys. If you're falling behind, be sure to get up here. We want to help you. DM me or Mattia, Sarah, Alisher, and I think Ross is going to be on Tech in Schools or maybe AI Tutor. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, we're here to help. And I see you, Sharon, so we'll get you up here as well. Glad to see you here. Well, I hope the Friday sessions are going awesome. And I see you got the hand up. Feel free to fire away, Sharon.
What overhaul? I don't see any difference with the webpage. I'm just wondering, am I on the wrong webpage?
If you go into the hub section, you'll notice that there were a lot of things changed, and we have some formatting changes that are beautiful in there, thanks to Luke. But yeah, the front page, cool. It wasn't the front page, it was the hub.
Oh, cool. Okay, thank you.
And guys, we will be starting here momentarily. Yep, Ross is on AI Tutor. That was awesome. How are you doing, Ross?
I'm good. I don't want the accounts to get weird, so I'll just be on the computer on one and AI Tutor here.
I feel that. It is, by the way, guys, Josh is out innovating. He's building right now. So he knows you guys are all working hard, and he is too tonight. And he's excited to see you guys on Saturday.
Also, while I'm getting ready real quick, Cash Money Cat, check your DMs. Look what I just made. 2 seconds. It's so cool.
I'm pulling it up right now. I too am also juggling 2 accounts. And it is a little tricky sometimes. That is awesome, Ross. If anybody in here that is new, I do see a couple new faces. The guys over at Tech in Schools Initiative make the coolest AI products on earth. And Ross, you guys, like, I gotta say, man, the words that you guys, like the fonts too, that the AI are generating with these videos are priceless. Like Chef's Kiss, priceless. It looks so good. And I remember like the old, like the version 0.1 versions of these, and where it was pretty hard to get the words, and now you just make it look so easy. So I can tell you guys to put your heart and souls into upgrading.
Yeah, I can't believe that just came out of like this generator. It's so good. That would take me like 6 hours to do. I pinned it up to the nest if you guys want to see it. I was just advertising the space, but it just came out so good.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to put it up in the nest. And real quick, everybody, now that I see we got some more people getting snuggled in here for class, if you guys just want to throw up your emojis, who got their logo changed, the V-Tiger logo changed? If you can just throw up an emoji, little thumbs up, or you did.
Yes.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Take a picture and post it if you did your homework. The proof is in the pudding. That's it.
Kathleen. If for some reason you didn't finish your homework and the dog ate it, um, you can redeem yourself by making something in Pixio, something akin to an excuse, and posting it. Um, I do know that a lot of folks are kind of going through the motions in terms of figuring out what they want their modules to be, and you know sometimes that's part of the iteration project process, and looking into it and saying, wait a second, I don't want to hit click and send until I actually know what the heck I'm doing. And I understand that. So, don't beat yourself up too much. We're not going to lecture you too hardly, or too roughly, I should say. But um, the reality is that, putting these things in motion is what makes it ours. We're voiding the warranties, opening the package, putting our stamp on it, and making it ours. And so hopefully, you know what, we'll get there. Um, but if you are struggling, for all intents and purposes, we need to know. We need to know if you didn't do your homework. This is not a walk of shame or anything of the sort. It's why. If life was just too big and too busy and that kind of thing, that's one thing. But if it's something that, what, you just couldn't get it to go, or maybe you didn't listen in on that last half hour of Thursday's show, which basically told you how to do it, because we didn't mention it on Wednesday night. You had to kind of go back and try to figure it out. We need to have that feedback too. We need to understand why things aren't getting done. Is it totally confusing? Is it something that's breaking, et cetera, et cetera? I see your hand up, my dear Sharon. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I just want to say I didn't do the logo because that's going to be my finishing touch when I'm done with everything. Because I basically don't even know what kind of logo. I've been trying to figure it out for weeks now. So even before the homework. So I was thinking I want to finish everything else and then logo, since that's the fun part and the easiest part, that's when I'm going to do that.
Sharon, you bring up a really good point. I see that Starboss is in the audience, and I hope I'm not stepping on any toes by using her as an example. Her logo is insanely personal, and it took her a long, long, long time to think through the pieces and the storytelling behind her logo. And so this is not something that you want to take lightly, just slap something on there. It's something that's insanely personal, and it's going to be the face of your project. So, that I think is a very important thing. That, what, maybe there wasn't anything to put there, because you are very serious about your project, and you do want to make sure that you're doing everything the way that it's supposed to be done. So that's an excellent point, and I'm glad that it's on the recording. So thank you for bringing that up, Sharon. As always, tackle hugging you through my phone. We'll just leave it at that.
And if somebody doesn't have Pixio, DM Cash Money Kev or at Kevin A McConnell, and I'll make you a quick logo in Pixio, and that way you guys don't have to be making your logo in class. And I'll just send it over to you, and you can change it over after class really quickly. And so if you don't have Pixio and you don't know how to make the logo for yourself real quick, I can do that for you guys. I did see a couple thumbs down, so if that was an issue, just DM me. But Ross, if you guys are all good, I'll leave it over to you.
So, if you didn't do your homework, I now have pencils to coin this phrase, thanks to Sarah. It is definitely a you problem. And if that's you, send me a DM and I will send you a pencil straight to your house that says it's a you problem. So you can write with it and fix your problems. Because we're not doing the homework here today. We're actually just going to skip and pretend like it never happened. Unless you have
Ross,
a problem.
you have to tell folks how that single pencil sent you on an adventure, because I laughed myself silly when you told me what you had to do when they arrived.
Oh, yeah, we did not have a sharpener, so we had to go figure out that first, because I know that we got a sharpener, but it's like something we haven't used. I haven't used in like a while. Like, go find one. It's crazy. But also, I want to first say, anyone who's here doing this is not easy. A lot of people go to school for this, and a lot of people study and try for years. And some try for years and never succeed. And some succeed right out the gate. And some succeed in 10 years. Some succeed in 3 years. Like it's this is not easy stuff. So if you're confused, you can just like know everyone else is confused, probably outside of me and me sometimes. And that's the thing, even random problems that you guys cause, I don't know how to fix, and I have to like figure it out. So if you're here and you're like, it's like pulling your hair, don't do that to yourself. Like, you should be here because you want to learn, and you want to learn what runs the world. Because let me tell you, it is not the government right now. It's the internet. That's for sure. And how people do things right now that are crazy is the internet. Every one of these companies, AI, internet. Like, all this is internet. And so if you want to be a part of that, you have to pay your dues. And there's nowhere to write your check. Like, you can just write it to yourself and award it to yourself when you finish a project, and go cash that check and go buy something. But it's ultimately something you have to take responsibility. Like, we're not, like, this isn't where, like, if you fall behind, you can take a makeup class like college. You could do that, like, but that's different. This is a sort of public good that we're doing. And so everyone here is playing with technology that's real. Someone's paying for it. You ever heard that statement? Someone's paying for it. It's real. So you should enjoy the time that we have together and the limitless guided learning that you're receiving, rather than spending any one of those minutes frustrated. Because if you do, all you take away from is yourself. Because everyone else is frustrated. I just learned to feel it differently. So I don't let it like ruin my mood. It's part of the fun. It's like being in a labyrinth. And like, you never know where there's going to be a secret trap door where you fall into spikes. But you know that there's some way out. It's like, it's fun. The fun part is the unknown. And if you don't like that and you need like rigid, this is going to definitely work, this is definitely not for you. So this is my official PSA. Like, don't be mad if you're frustrated. Be mad for real things. That's not a real thing. Everyone's frustrated, including the most talented software engineers in the world. They're just frustrated on more difficult problems. But they're still frustrated. That doesn't go away. So I hope everyone understands that. And if you have any questions, please tell me.
Ross.
Sharon.
Please don't work. But Sarah, I love you. Ross, I only did 3 modules because I thought I only need 3. But I understand the process. It's really cool. I learned so much. It's freaking awesome. I just want to tell you that. But I only have 3 and not 5.
That's okay. It doesn't matter. 3 out of 5 is okay. Not having done anything or make 0 progress, so from last week to here, is not the best. So like, that's really the gauge, right? So if you did stuff, you're good. Like, for you, this whole process when it comes together is super, super important, because in theory, someone's got to buy your magazine, but like in a weird way, right? Not like your typical buy magazine, deliver it. It's like monthly. And then they got to join some service, and they have to be cataloged in a CRM somewhere. And so all this working together, even with 3 modules, is plenty. You know what I mean? It's going to work for you and what you're building. And your tools are going to be free to use for you. So you won't be like vendor locked, and your data is yours, and you don't have to pay. Like, it's crazy. Once it all works, you just got to put in that time and effort. So if you do that, there's really no way you can't fail. Like, failure is just not even real when you put in the time, because every time that I want to do something, I just put in the work and the effort. Like I was telling Sarah earlier, I am on, 4 hours ish of sleep, but you really wouldn't know, because like, that's me. That's my problem. Like, it's not your problem that I didn't get sleep, So like, why should it? It's not going to affect what I'm doing. But at the same time, I was up all night because I had like a lot of DMs. The more annoying one was Sharon, and like 3 other people that are not here. And they were just like, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. So like, I worked all night to bring back research, but with a twist. Now it's multi-agent capable. So you'll be hiring an agent when you deploy your first prompt, and it'll base your agent and construct it based on your prompt. So ask about food, you get a nutrition agent. It literally builds it right in front of you. We're launching it tonight. So it'll be back as a button for you, Sharon, and everyone else at DMV. And
You
that
are
was
crazy.
my whole night last night, like the whole thing. And then keyframes, also, I had to get it to work, and everything worked. But I put in the work. Like, I didn't like just look up into the sky and be like, beam me information, gods of internet and code. Like, I knew nothing. In fact, little 2-second story, I learned Go last night. It's called Go for short, Golang for long, invented by Google, super lightweight, right? And really easy to write with. One problem, y'all, your boy never heard of Go. So I'm like, what? Golang? That does not sound like Next.js. And I'm like, oh, let's put it on Vercel. Like what I tell all you guys. Vercel's like, nah, bro, fail. Does not work because they don't support Go. So I had to build my own custom Docker container and go on Railway, whatever. Long, crazy labyrinth of fun. But also, I had to put in the work. So literally, I do exactly what I'm telling you. I promise. I don't just tell you what I think you should do. I do it. I don't expect you to go as hard as me, but go like a little hard. You know, it's your brand, your business. Also, props to Sharon for doing like a whole 2-hour prequel to preparing for right now. That was cool.
I have a question. And yes, Sharon, while I was talking with Ross earlier before class started, he pointed it out. He was like, wow, she's really working hard. And I think that's really cool. When you know that folks are working behind the scenes. It doesn't always come together. Sometimes you could put in that whole entire 6 hours and you're like, dude, I'm just so excited that I remembered my password. The little victories we celebrate. But the reason why I'm chiming in is, Sharon, if you're willing to share with other folks, in the idea of editing down your modules, which ones did you settle on and why? Because I think that can help other people kind of think through the hierarchy and, the kind of mind map of their own websites when you start thinking about why you're putting in certain pieces. Because I know for me personally, the idea of a customer management system, for lack of a better terms, it really wasn't on my radar because, I have my core people and it's a very consultant based business. And it's not saying that I don't need new customers. It's just that I work in a very niche kind of environment. And so I never really thought about how to capture different kinds of data. It wasn't really one of the things that I was thinking about. But I do think it's very fascinating. In this class, it's forcing me to think things in a different way, especially if you're thinking about the digital overlay and how that applies to decentralization and how you are your own bank, you are your own manufacturer, you are your own fill in the blank, whatever it is that you are doing. And by proxy, it means that you are also managing all of those different pieces to the puzzle. So I was curious, your why, Sharon. Why did you pick the ones you did? And how are you going to kind of make them more useful? Because there are some people here that um, are really just asking the questions, the same questions I'm asking, I think. But I'm just curious because I like to hear what you think and how you think. It always spurs me on. I know that personally. So if you're willing to share.
First of all, I had absolutely no idea. I had never done anything like this before. had my own studio for 12 years. I was very old school. I was using pen and paper and a little box where I was managing everything. So my first step was to go to AI. And I sat down and I'm like, okay, what do I want to know? Right. So I started with the basics. I have used CRM tools in the past because I worked for IT companies. So I know, I think SAP and all that stuff and customer management, I knew all of that. But how am I going to build it? What am I going to do? So I asked AI. That was step one. And we got to a framework, right? I was kept going back and forth. So for me, with subscription, the thing is that I do have a product in my hand where maybe other people are not quite sure because they don't have that product yet, right? So I already have a product. I'm so sorry. I have a website. I want to make a magazine, which is done now. And go be quiet. And I need access to customer data, right? I have a magazine and I want to send it to people. I want to get money back. And I also want to know a couple of other things that might be very individual for some people. For me, very important is when did they subscribe? What did they subscribe to? Did they cancel? Did they pay? And all of these things. So that's how I built my models. I have 3 of them. First of all, I need contact information because I need to know, well, where am I going to send it? What's the person's name? So I have name, number, all that good stuff, right? We filled out many forms in the past when we order stuff on Amazon, right? We have to enter our address and whatever, right? So then the second model is subscription information. So what did they subscribe to? Because I have a digital form of the magazine and a print form, right? So I have information like that in my second model. And then the third is delivery management. How is it going to go, right? I need to know when, because everybody's going to subscribe at a different point in time. So I need to actually kind of track that information too. Basically, all the information that you want to track between the customer and you, I would say. I'm going even as deep as saying, because Stripe payment, right? Stripe is going to be doing all the payment fulfillment for me, but I would like to track that too. So I'm probably going to add things like that into it also so that I have a little bit of information from Stripe. I just have to ask AI or ask Ross. I think that's possible that I can integrate Stripe information into CRM too. So that's basically in a nutshell kind of how I built it. Thank you.
I think that's brilliant, actually. Your explanation is brilliant. And I think the authenticity and the genuine way that you describe things is so refreshing as well. It's okay to not know what the heck you want, but you kind of know in your head, hey, I really would like to know whether or not this person signed up for XYZ, what issue they came in on. Sometimes you will have a whole entire smattering of different offerings. And for some reason, maybe it was the cover that pulled them in. Maybe it was, an article that was on that cover. In doing the research behind the scenes this past week, trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to know from my own customer base, that was one of the key things that I had never paid attention to, is how a lot of times, you can also figure out, you know, the information and how you are disseminating it, how it's received. You can tell a lot of different things that are not normally broadcast. Just because someone says, hey, I like Pepsi better than Coke, or whatever, you know, in those kinds of choices through, your decision tree when you're making that funnel, as Ross was talking about. And those sales funnels are going to be more and more important. The reality is, folks, that a lot of us are going to be displaced. But Sharon did bring up an excellent point. Asking AI to help. Say, hey, you know what? Do the heavy lifting for me. Um, kind of fill in those blanks so that now you can unearth and excavate the kinds of things that you really need to have in your business to be successful, especially if you've been displaced, right? And you have to start all over again. Or in my case, I'm building an entire ecosystem that I've never had before in terms of a handicraft kind of museum, which is really bizarre. But I need to understand who these folks are. And so it's kind of a bigger project that I intended, but it's a passion project, which means you have to dig a little deeper and ask yourselves those kinds of questions. If you are going to have recordings, if you're going to have podcasts, if you're going to have, you know, a magazine, if you are going to have newsletters, if you're going to have retreats, if you're going to have conventions, if you're going to have real world activities, if you're going to have, you know, activities that are in a metaverse of some sort. These are all little facets to your business plan that are going to have to capture information, and you need to know who are coming to what, basically. Go ahead, Sharon.
You know what, Sarah? What Ross has given us, this information, you guys cannot imagine how valuable this is. This is absolutely wild. You can customize everything to the smallest particle. So you can come up with the wildest stuff. This is absolutely my head. I don't even know what to say. And we are getting this information for free. You know, even if you were to pay someone, what's inside of Ross's head, I don't even know if not even 50%. That's probably just a very small percentage of people that have this information in their head that Ross has. The way that he works, his brain, it's just brilliant. It's genius. And we can be super thankful to be here and have Ross sleeping 4 hours a night, working. I don't even know what to say, Ross. I just do not know what to say. There's a
You know,
small percentage that has this information, and he is giving his deepest, all this, it's, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
you're bringing up a really a very important point. I would not be able to pay for this. I know very many people in this room that would not be able to pay the kind of money that you know, the various options out there charge, and that barrier to entry means that you can't compete on a level as the big boys do, right? When I was a broker for Morgan Stanley, we were able to, you know, kind of like Sharon just said, distill down information in our contact management systems. And it's all proprietary. And this was way back in the day, but it's not just understanding how much money your client makes. You know how many kids they have in school, you know what kind of car they drive, you know when their car is not going, when they're going to re-up their lease, you know when they take vacations, you know when the kids graduate and when they're going to have a new vehicle, or they're going to have tuition payments. You have so many core details. And you know what? All of these different platforms have that kind of information on us. Why can't we have information on our own clients? It's like when you think about getting your credit report. Everybody else can get your credit report except for you, you know, and you have no idea, you know, all of these different parameters. But Sharon is bringing up an excellent point, is that the system that we're playing with right now is very, very powerful. And because some of us have never been exposed to such tools, we don't even know how powerful it is because we don't know what we don't know. And, you know, once you finally figure out who your core customer base is and the people that you want to attract and the people that you just light up to serve, um, those kinds of touch points and data points and demographic points can be put into the system, and it can suss it out for you in a way that it's just really, really cool. And you're not having to pay for these huge communities because, you know, they pay by each entity and how many units of attention and all of the other different dynamics and metrics that they, you know, nickel and dime folks for. And so I know personally I wouldn't be able to pay for this. I wouldn't have been able to pay for even having the WordPress be built out, or a cPanel, or any of these things. These tools were way beyond my budget constraints. And as a result, I was very apt to go and just say, you know what, I'll just do a what you see is what you get. But as we have talked about before, what you see is what you get is also very costly. You're buying a substandard pair of shoes. There's a parable about poor people, and we buy poor people's shoes. And as a result, we're constantly re-upping them, as opposed to buying, a pair of shoes that fits and that are made really well to last 100 years. It's the kind of trade-offs and opportunity costs that we're forced to make, um, because you know what, you don't have the money at that particular time, and so you will pay for it through the nose, especially if you grow too fast. So that is definitely something to marinate on. So without much further ado, Ross, we could talk about lots of this stuff. um, I'm looking at the live stream and I see that we are on VTiger. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm showing what not doing your homework looks like, just so you guys could see.
Agreeing. For those of you that are listening in on the recording, Thursday, that was our post-mortem class. In the last 15 minutes, Alisher did go over how to do this, because it was something that we needed to understand and know. So if you do need to go back and listen, definitely Thursday is going to be your friend. But go ahead, Ross.
So basically, you should have a system that's sort of set up, and also, Sharon, I sent you, since I know you're like dying before I put it in. You could test the AI Research version 2, which hires an agent on your first prompt. So feel free to test that out really quick when you get a chance. And Kirk, I sent it to you too. If anyone wants it and you have AI Tutor, it's coming anyways, but feel free to DM me. But with this, you want to have your modules set, because like what Sharon says is really important. You want to know like where the magazine's going, who are your providers, like who's shipping it. These could all be part of a module. So even though you only have 3, there are 3 really good ones, and maybe you only do need 3. Homework is kind of just that. It's a generalized overview of what you need to do. But you coming to me and saying I only made 3, I can't think of another one. Maybe you only actually need 3. So that's fine. But what's really important that we do is make something in VTiger that's customized. Because remember, potentially a client could see parts of VTiger. So you want to make sure it's white labeled. And like Sharon said, there's down to the last particle you could change. It's true. This is the power of open source. And you guys should be super grateful that VTiger also supports the developer community. And you shouldn't approach this like, well, I don't need a CRM. I'm cool. Well, no. Well, you might be cool, but no, you have to learn, because do you know how much you can sell a custom CRM for? My first one was 28,000. The next one was like 100K, all based off some open source software.
And just so everyone knows, I want to add this, not if you don't have your own project, if you learn this, you can make some serious cash. I'm not talking about $100. I'm talking about thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, if you know this and you know how to use this and build this, you can make serious money with it.
You really can. I remember when I was approached to build the first version I ever made of a CRM. It was for a real estate company, and they had a budget, and it was like 30 grand, and they've mapped it out that if they use Salesforce, they'll be able to use their budget and get through half the year with their agents. I told them, I'll take the money and give you unlimited agents. And they were like, that's it, sold. And it wasn't like just 30K check. It was like $4,000 a month. And then as we got closer, the money started to double. As we got closer, it's my first job, big job. But the next time I did it, it was just very standard. Like, here's half the money. Like, this is a real thing. Real thing. People pay a lot of money. Even current VTiger customers will pay money to get out of that subscription per client, per login, per user. So whether you're building this for you or just like you want to do a job for someone and make them a CRM, It's fully customized. Like whatever they want could exist. Even if you were, and this is random, a tattoo shop, you can have different tattoo templates available in the CRM under a new module called templates. It accepts a PNG and a title, and there's a download button. So easy. So that's why I'm going through these different sections with you guys on what it would take to launch a community for real.
Can I add one more thing? So now you guys know that we have AI, right? So people that have been building with CRM, if they do not have AI knowledge, right, you are a step ahead of them. So just keep that in mind. With AI, with the capabilities that we have, building agents, doing all this stuff, it is ridiculous. You guys are a step ahead. We are in this small bubble on X. There are millions of people that have not used AI to this day. Just so you guys know that. So if you think there's a big competition out there, there might not even be a competition.
It's true. And combining AI with this is crazy, Sharon. If you use like your like AI tools to put like a chatbot and then take all the data that comes into the CRM, like it's so cool what you could do now. And you are 100% right. Sarah, you have a question?
Well, sort of. There's a movie called Shawshank Redemption, and Morgan Freeman plays the character of Red. And he's in captivity, obviously, but he's a man that knows how to get things, right? CRMs are very common, obviously, and lots of people know how to build them. What Sharon just said about AI, even the folks that are just now, learning about ChatGPT, or they've decided, oh my gosh, Grok has come out with 2 point or whatever. And, you know, they think they know what AI is, but, one of the things that these classes have done is showed you where to get things, things that other people do not have in their quiver, in their toolbox. And it saves you exponential amounts of time and energy. The time and energy it would take for your competitors to suss out all of the different things that are out there in the universe. And, they're going to be paying full price, right? Because they don't have the tools that you have in your digital backpack, right? They're going to be it's going to cost them more in time, energy, resources, money to compete with you. You are able to price your services far more competitively. Or, like Ross said too, you can offer a premium because you have the mechanical advantage that gets you faster. You can complete things faster and better and more well-rounded. If you're using your AI cohort to kind of ask what you need for your customer, right? Going through the same thing that Sharon had said, say, hey, what do I need to do this? Well, you know what? You have the ability to tailor the ecosystem specifically to your customer, which is very, very powerful in and itself. So, the learning curve is high for right now, especially if you don't know what you don't know, right? Um, I would not have known that VTiger had a free option. You know, some of the things that we found hunting and gathering on GitHub,
Yeah,
the
but
whole world doesn't know those
you
kinds
know,
of things. Go ahead.
you know how much money they spend to not have you not know that? Like they literally
I have no
spend
idea.
money on advertising so that you don't know that. It's crazy.
Well, a lot of it makes sense. I mean, obviously, but it's funny because there's this dual-edged sword. You do need to have some things that are open source, and you do need to have things that are out in the wild. But, you know, it's not just because something is free doesn't mean it's free, right? It doesn't have a cost per se, but it means that you're going to have to do a little bit of extra legwork, and you're going to have to put in your time and energy. It's like on the robotics team, there's this kind of X and Y axis. If you have more money, you can do it faster, right? If you don't have a lot of money, it's going to take you a lot longer. But, you can have comparable robots. Case in point, the kids that I work with in Flint, we don't have 2 nickels to rub together, but we will, have a climbing gear. Maybe it's a ratchet, a locking ratchet or whatever. Maybe our manipulator is a dustpan. It may not work to the extent that some of the teams that are very, very well funded, but you know what? We make up for it in different ways because we don't have the complexity that they do and our bots don't break as fast. There's always a trade-off and an opportunity cost. And those are the kinds of things that you really have to think about. But in order to do that, you really have to know your own business inside and out. And right now, many people in the audience have always been a W-2 employee. They have never had bankroll employees, have a 1099. It's a very difficult thing when you're moving from the security of having a paycheck all the time and a 9 to 5. There's a big learning curve to going and saying, I'm a 1099 and I might have to work 24 hours a day for a while. Those are the trade-offs and have the insecurity of not having a full flush bank account or a Friday paycheck. Those are the kinds of things that you have to think about. And that's what we're doing here. Many of you in the audience have a 9 to 5 job and you're showing up here after hours to get an education and better yourself and change your stars. And I think that's really kind of cool. So at any rate, go ahead, Ross.
So basically, what we're going to do is kind of leave vTiger with our customizations right now, because what we have to do, we have a few things. We have to have a website that is going to act as our funnel, right? The funnel is how to get new customers in without too much info. Think landing page. But there's another website you should have that's your actual website, because I will never buy something from a funnel. It's just weird. There should be more than just one page when there's purchasing happening. But for advertising purposes, you want to do a funnel. Now, a funnel, you can make 2 WordPresses. So you can have so we'll use Sharon. You can have the website that you have, but then you can have another page, right? Which is just a 1-page quick thing, like a funnel about getting in the subscription of the magazine. Not too much info. What you would run Google ads on, basically. It would capture an email, which would generate interest, which then you could then market to. And it would record this data within your CRM. That's the goal. So everyone needs, yeah.
This is a lot like how on Saturday when Josh Hellman says before you do the pitch, who are you pitching for? Is your landing page, who are you pitching for? Is it the customer or is it an investor? Is it fill in the blank? Is that kind of how you would put it?
Yeah. So basically, we have a community website, right? I have, right? It's called hub.rossman, and I'm on stream doing it. Now, it doesn't have to be Hub or anything. It could be whatever you want. So for me, this is the actual website, right? This is where my stuff is going to happen. However, it does not have a landing page. Now, you would think, well, why don't you just make a page in WordPress? Okay. That's actually not a totally wrong or a bad idea, but it has its downsides. So one of them is all the plugins on your current site are now going to be a part of the landing page. So if you wanted to have a new theme or depart, it would be kind of difficult. But with a new website, you can depart from your theme altogether and change it up just for the landing page. Now, normally you would think, well, I don't want to do that. It's going to cost more. Well, in this scenario, it's as if you have a real server, which you really do. So you can just go on like you can see on stream. You would need to install WordPress again, but this would be the landing page. So you can see when I choose my domain, I'm always going to choose the right one. So I'm going to choose Hub, because it represents Hub is my main site, right? So if this was Sharon's website, Hub would be the main LLM website, which would be the Hub. It would have your front page and then where they could log in and do some other stuff too. That would be the new part. And then here, I would put landing or lander or whatever. It really doesn't matter. And then I would install WordPress. This would act as a landing page. The entire WordPress will just have one page. It'll be one page that basically the science behind this is to get them to either buy something or give you their information expressing various different levels of interest. What that means is maybe it's a pop-up that someone just fills out and that's that. But what if that person clicks off the pop-up, scrolls down, and there's another one, and it's like, you've made it to the bottom. Give us your email for an exclusive offer. Now that is a different level of interest, and you could gauge this. And this is how people do things in real life. And this is what companies basically charge you hundreds of dollars a month to build, because they make it super easy, and you hit a button and give your name and boom, you have a landing page. But you also don't own it, and you're stuck paying that whatever monthly forever. So it's like a trade-off, right? For me, I love building everything. I love the labyrinth of traps that I always find myself in. It's super fun. It lets you know, like, you're actually like the architect here. And like mistakes you make are bad, sure, but things that are not mistakes that work are awesome. Like exposing AI Tutor and Pixio to all of you people safely. This was a hard thing we had to do after we built the tool. So it's like, even when you build the thing and you're like, great, it's done. Now you got to like do something else to get it to actual humans. That was the other problem. And I continue to face problems, right? Our new video model just came out. It's super cool. That was a lot of hard work. The next iteration is coming out this weekend. And that's insane. Sarah used it today, and it worked on digital art and made it move in 3D space. And that's pretty cool. So there's always going to be issues, but even myself, I have Pixio, where you can log in and pay. I have the new landing page we just are about to launch that I showed you guys last class that everyone loved. Right? That's super eye-catching. See how different that is than our current landing page? Like, you get to that one, it smacks you in the face. We're super excited to launch that one because it'll show people a little glimpse into what's possible with an updated feel. And that's the thing. Your landing page grows and changes just like you do. New offers, new part of the page. Edit, change, always. Imagine being locked into something like Wix or whatever, where you couldn't change something and you had to pay more and pay more. Like, it's crazy. The only thing you have to trade is your ability to learn and your like brain power and time. And if you trade that with these open source tools, you get a much higher payout in the long run because your tooling becomes free. Even if you pay cPanel $20 a month and you pay a server $50 a month, it still don't matter. Even if it's $300 a month, it still doesn't matter. Why? Because users don't matter. Unlimited users, unlimited websites, unlimited databases, you name it, you got it, unlimited. This is how you should do things. Like, how do you think there's over 100 cPanels right now on this one server? How crazy is that? All you guys are on the same server. Isn't that nuts? Look at what you can build. So it's important to use open source technologies because we're using them like in everything that we do. Except this, cPanel is not open source, but they are super cool for giving everyone here free accounts. So that's kind of cool. But everything else, a lot of like everything we're using is open source. WordPress, vTiger, Moodle, all open source. So yeah, my rant is now over. So did you guys make a second website? And this is not a monologue, and this is not a podcast. If you're here, why are you not talking? Like, you're allowed to talk in this class. You should use your voice. It's one of the most powerful things you have in an audio space. You don't even need to raise your hand. You just need to be a microphone person.
Shall we do that now? Shall we do that now? Build our, okay, okay.
Yeah, this is a real-time thing. You should be doing it with me, and if you have a question, just speak up. Unmute.
Well, basically, all you got to do is just do a new domain, right? That's all.
If you want to be fancy and do it the right way, you would do a new domain. I didn't do it fancy. I did it ratchet. You could do it ratchet, but it's not the best. Because again, if you do it ratchet, people can get in. So don't do it ratchet. Do it right. Make a
So we
domain.
should go through the whole yeah, okay,
The
cool.
whole entire shebang.
Okay.
It's good practice too.
I know, I'm just waiting for one of my modules to import. Is it taking really that long? It's 3 minutes or so? Is that normal?
It could be a glitch. I would just refresh, try again. It might be there.
Okay, okay.
Maybe you need more server juice. You need to give it some more gigs. We got lots of gigs, so maybe we'll just show you how to extend it. But you guys should have a new site because we're gonna concentrate on that part. Because like that's something we did not do yet. So make sure you actually have it. And guys, the modules in VTiger, like there's no right or wrong way to do them. You just have to experiment and make stuff. Like you'll find out what works and what doesn't. You gotta make, like you'll find you're like, I hate this. I gotta fix 3 things. You delete the whole thing. Just do it again. Like each time you do this, you're literally creating code. So it's not like you can just like update the module. You gotta delete it and try again. I mean, you'll get to what you want. It's not a one night thing. Like it's your CRM. You can make new modules anytime you want.
And I just want to say you're going to grow, of course. I mean, the way you think about your project today is probably not how you're going to think about it in 2 weeks or 3 or a month from now. So you're going to grow. You can add whatever you want. You can delete, you can add. I mean, you can just work on the go, right? You'll be smarter than you are today in a couple weeks now. So yeah, I probably have just 3 models now, but maybe I'll have 5 in 3 weeks from now, right? That can always change.
Yeah, and look, big companies, you know, they run on CRMs and they normally pay lots of money to do it. And building one custom can cost you thousands of dollars, like so much money, like ridiculous amount of money. And that's why these tools are awesome. And it's not even like you may see like VTiger 7, 8, whatever. VTiger is just like the predecessor, right? If you want to like do research, you could go way back, right? It's called Suite CRM, SUITE, like a suite. And that one was first. VTiger is loosely based on this, right? And well, not loosely, like heavily, but then they redesigned it. And then before that, it was Sugar, and Sugar and Sweet. Actually, I never said it together. That's kind of funny, Sweet and Sugar. But it's sweet like how AI Tutor, AI sweet, but it's funny. They're both the same open source company, right? Build it for free. And then VTiger came, took their code, open source, changed it, and made it VTiger. And that's what's going to keep happening. It's so cool. And that's why open source is important. Because now VTiger is essentially better than Sweet and Sugar. And you could Google Sweet CRM, Sugar CRM, VTiger. You can see like the path. It's like a whole thing. But you're talking about 20 years of development rolled into one package at this point. Just to buy that is going to cost more money than anything else. Forget like the code, the years of iteration. And people make their own businesses off of it. VTiger Marketplace is a third-party website that is amazing. I know the owner. His name is Ved.